Engineer 775 back on another solar installation with Gain Solar. Johnny and the crew, we've been having fun trying to beat the rain. We've got great, we were worried about getting him stuck. He's not going to get stuck. So we're just doing two arrays here. It'll be two 12-panel arrays. I think we're going to do about 7,500 watts here, 72 cell panels. And we're doing our flying V again. And what I mean by that is we have a south-southeast, which is this array, and a south-southwest facing array. And we cut trees down. We got a great solar window here. So the worst part is the house, but we're going to clear that too. So actually have really good production at this site. I'll show you some of the rest in a bit.
We got our post level, we got our post plumb, we got them through, we got them string line. We're just about here pouring concrete. It's a good thing to know they're home. Whether they're home good or home bad, they're home. 6 feet deep holes, and about a little over half a yard of concrete for every one of them. One of them over there look like a swimming pool.
1 yard of concrete for everyone.
Please, we're done. So, nice feeling. You can see just looking at the footers how sturdy these things are. Not going anywhere.
Got our conduits in?
Yep, got our conduit roughed in. One of those parts of a solar job we're just thankful that the weather finally cleared. Give us some time to pour.
This one's got some big...
This one was going to be a swimming pool, but we decided to put the solar in there. Sometimes you get rocked.
And then it moves all over. Engineer 775, not having a good day. I threw my $2, I think this was 50 cents. And we were looking at these posts over here. Look at these posts. The way the ground's going, we thought we were way off, but we were going by this isn't too smart to use one of these. So we finally got smart and broke out the laser. We broke out water levels, but we got this thing is just totally awesome. So I'm just going to demonstrate it here. I'm going to walk over to the post. You hear it beeping. Where's the mark? There we go. Okay, it's telling me I need to move up. It's telling me I need to move down. And that's right where it is. And there's a little notch back here. You just mark it on your post, and that's the level. So then you can go over and check your other. Hope that wasn't too obnoxious on video. That's pretty loud. Then we'll come over here and do the same thing. Make our fine-tune adjustments, make our mark, and make sure we're good and level. Now, if the 50-cent solution doesn't work, and the, I don't know, $1,000 solution doesn't work, we go to old school, which is my favorite. It's the Myers water levels. You can use any garden hose. You don't need to buy a clear hose. You don't need to use food dye. You don't need to do all the things everybody says you need to. Just buy yourself a set of Myers water level hoses. The ends, they screw on. They got the male and female. They got the shut-off and the caps, and they work awesome. So 3 ways, but when you're putting in a solar array that's as expensive and as nice as we put in, you want to make sure that the posts are where they need to be, especially when you're sitting in 4 yards of concrete. It's a done deal. So, okay, we're back. It's day 3. We're inside this garage putting in an Outback Radian 8048A with grid 0 capability. 2 Midnight Classic 200 charge controllers. Johnny is knee-deep into this Radian, and it's hard to work on. Ain't it, boss?
It's not that the Radian's hard to work on. GSLC load center is tight. It's a tight box.
This box on the bottom, there's just no room. Millions of connections. Let's do a little shout out to our buddy Jason out at West Coast Sustainable. What has Jason showed us? Some of his little tricks.
So he's a guy out in California. Obviously they're like 10 years ahead of us and everything. He's showing us how to make our jobs look really commercial.
With these gutters and EMT.
Thank you, Jason, for telling me how to do this.
Yes, sir. With a good shout out. Hey, Jason's channel is West Coast Sustainables. It's on the right-hand side. Probably mispronouncing his last name. We're calling him Jason Andrade. It might be
kind of like Mario Andretti, you know.
But it's not spelled like that, boss. But anyhow, go check out Jason's channel. He does some really neat jobs. He's been he doesn't want to fully focus on just solar. He's kind of like us. We do a little bit of everything when it comes to prepping. So that's why he's West Coast Sustainability. Anyway, check out his stuff. We just want to show you kind of midway on this job. Hope to finish it this week, but this is the stuff. Let me zoom in on the box that nobody likes. So we put poor Johnny to get himself all cut up and gashed working on the inside. He's already bleeding.
Tattered.
Just tattered from having to work on this load center. All right, we'll continue this tomorrow. Okay, day 4, conduit is in, and we got a lot of rain coming, so we wanted to get this yard back in good shape because we've tore it up with concrete trucks and tractors and skid steers and augers, so it's looking pretty good. So we tried to make the site look nice. Here's our flying V. We're going to get set up and put the solar panels on it now, but first we raked everything out, backfilled our trenches, seeded. We're going to put their straw down. We like the customers to be happy. Okay, this is the beginning of day 5. We're having to wrap up. It's the end of the week, but we're at a good stopping point with this job. We'll have to come back and add a little generator disconnect for the system. But the majority of the job's done. It's probably 90% done. Batteries are hooked in. So the secure load panel needs to have the circuits moved, which is a lot. That's a whole full day of work. So we're looking at a good 6 to 7 days to complete this job. I gotta come back and redo the solar array, but it's a good job. If you're interested in something like this, just let us know. Be happy to get you a quote and get you going with your solar system. This is day 6 of this solar job. This job's taking a little longer just because it has not stopped raining, and so we're just fitting it in when we can. We did get the arrays wired today. This is array number 1 with combiner box number 1, and then array number 2, which is all hooked together, bonded, grounded, and array number 1 is fed up into, hey, don't break the combiner, Scott. Okay, array number 1 is fed up in here, and then back down this conduit up to the disconnect on the home, and then this array is wired separately and goes back into the same conduit. So these gutters are great. They hide a lot of imperfection and they make the job look a lot neater. So sun's down, but we're charging. So I'll show you this part of the job as well. So thankfully it was a pretty short run from the array to the house. We were about 65 feet. And we've got several things going on here. For one, we have the midnight solar disconnect that disconnects the DC, so it'll shut those 2 arrays down. We also have, the first time using it on the Radian, is this EPO switch. It's a shutdown. It's hooked to the Radian directly through a 12-volt circuit, so you can just shut that baby down quick. We've also got an AC disconnect. Everything will have placards on it identifying what it is. This is on, so in case of fire, they'll come shut this off, turn this off, hit the emergency switch. We also have a 60 amp generator input. I don't know if you can see. Can you see it? Can you see it? There. Nice weatherproof 60 amp generator input for days and weeks like we've just had. If you need to top off your battery, you can take your little generator, plug her in, give her power. Okay. And then what else did we get done today? We got we're charging now, so the charge controllers are being programmed and set up right now. Okay, now we're inside the garage. The charge controllers have just been set up, and it's late, sun's down, so we see about 105 volts on the array. Do we know which one is array number 1 and array number 2 yet? We haven't figured that out. We'll identify which one is which, and that's pretty much it. All day tomorrow will be Mr. Johnny Valentine inside of the critical loads panel. Good for him. We're going to be plumbing under the house, putting in a geyser hot water heater for this system. Okay, looking forward to firing up the Radian. This is the end of day 6.
Folks, I'm out here, I'm putting the finishing touches on this 7.5 kW grid-tied battery backup system with an Outback Radian. We're out here at the same job, undisclosed location. And I just want to give another shout out to Jason Andrade over there at West Coast Sustainables, way over on the other side of the country out there in California. Little installer tip he passed on to me last night when he was talking to me. He said, take it galvanized and just buff it out to run your Scotch-Brite pad against it. Just kind of buff it out in one direction. You'll have her looking like brushed nickel in no time. I just want to thank you for that, buddy. We do appreciate all your tips. West Coast Sustainables, folks. If you're on the other side of the Mississippi River, you give them a call. They're the best in the biz.
Okay, we're in one of the final stages of this system, just filling the batteries up with distilled water. You see a little wheel turning down here, so we know we're filling. And we have the little white float valves that you pay attention to. They'll pop up. Some are popped and some haven't come up yet. So it equalizes them nicely in terms of filling. And you hear the fan in the background probably. That vent fan is pulling out all the gas because we put a pretty heavy charge on the batteries. And that's vented to the outside. Alright, and then this system is Mr. Valentine's got it all nicely labeled and ready to go, so everything's identified. Which charge controller? We have an east and a west.
Southeast, southwest.
Southeast, southwest. About 22.5 degrees off of true south. And then we have all our bypasses and inverters and battery breakers and PV breakers and hubs and mates. Infinite menus in here. So getting it wrapped up, we're waiting on the inspector. And excited to have another system just about complete. This one is really nice though. It's been dressed up. And again, thanks to Jason Andrade. Jason, you gotta let us know how you pronounce your last name. But anyway, it's a shout out.
Now we're doing it just like we hear the races. Famous
No,
race
that's Andretti. That's not Andrade. Different spelling, boss. So anyway, we're finishing it up. Johnny keeps polishing this thing with olive oil.
Yeah, I put a little olive oil on here. That's the only way you can get brushed nickel clean.
Forget about it. We put olive oil on our inverters when we're done.
Got her all oiled up. That's how you got to get the brushed nickel to really bring out the shine.
She's beautiful, boss.
And then we got this thing. We Brillo padded her down, and Jason Andrade said, take a Brillo pad to it, and just to smooth it out, it'll look like the brushed nickel. So now we kind of got to. Everything's looking real uniform. We even painted our
backboard, so mounting board. So anyway, the systems, they've always worked great. We're just putting some nice touches on them, just aesthetically, make them aesthetically pleasing for the customer and for you YouTube viewers. All right, come on, Inspector, get here. All right, it's the end of the day on the last day. See, our morning array is tapered off, but our afternoon array is still cooking. You can see the shades about to get to it at about 4 o'clock. It's in November, mid-November. So she's doing great. So we were producing this morning at 7:30. It's definitely a great producer in the morning, and we're going to at least 4:30 in the afternoon in the winter, and that makes me happy. So we're finishing up another great job here. Again, this is a hybrid battery backup. The ability to sell back to the grid if you want, and the best of both worlds, grid tied and battery backup. And all our disconnects, we've added some nice new things on this job. Again, the gutters or trays, just make it really nice, dress it up. 50 amp generator connection. It's probably redundant just because I'm tired, and hopefully you won't be bored to death with all this. If you are, sorry. We added this as EPO switch, 12 volt activated, so that's a quick emergency disconnect. We got all our PV disconnect, solar disconnect, and our AC disconnect out here. So nice and neat. Just passed inspection. Inspector just left. So he signed off, didn't ding us on anything, which is nice. Get some nice placards made up that let everybody know, the fire department, whoever comes, just a good explanation of where everything is from the solar array, the custom Flying V solar array, location of all the disconnects, the battery backup, inverter, all location of everything is on the placard, so that's very helpful. The only thing we got to do is get a cell back meter put in here now, our interconnection with the power company. Everything's set to go. We're still waiting on that bi-directional meter. And then inside, where we have inverter, just buttoned everything up, all the settings, setting the battery, and calibrating the charge controllers. Let me have you take a peek in here. Let me get this distilled water out of the way. And inside our battery cabinet, we have the flooded lead acid 826 amp hour 24 2-volt cell battery. We've got a battery vent here, and I'm gonna plug up that hole. And I just topped off the batteries with the automatic watering kit, and so all the float valves are popped up nicely, so the battery's just, I think it's set 100%, doing really good. Smell a little bit of off gas there. This cabinet worked really well for a battery bank. Nice and neat, tucked in there, and all is well. The load center, everything's nicely labeled. We've got a west array and an east array on the charge controller, so that's all cool. And then we have everything hopefully pretty obviously labeled here, and so it's all doing great. The mate's something I've got to learn a little bit better, and start learning all this optics RE stuff and how to connect it to the internet, so you can get an IP address on a tablet, iPhone, any type of device, so that you can actually change some of the settings in this thing. So pretty cool setup. All right, batteries at 100%. Probably can't see these numbers. And the system's inverting about 700 watts right now, so not much running. All right, that's it. That's the Outback Radian. Real slick system. I guess I could show you the critical loads panel, and maybe I will show you that. Listen, in the house is where we started with this GE load center on the left. This was their original panel, and then these are all the circuits we moved out of that panel into our critical load panel. This is what is supplied by the solar system. Things that, like again, the hot water heater, I replaced with a geyser that can produce enough hot water, 60 gallons an hour, off of the solar system. We're still gonna add 2 mini split air conditioners in here, and there will still be 3 slots left for breakers if you need to add anything more to the system. So you have a house that you have a hot shower, you have air conditioning, washing machine, lights throughout, in the garage, run tools, pretty much everything except for clothes dryer, old heat pumps, air handlers, and so those were the heavy hitters. The stove too, the oven, we don't have that, but we have other ways to cook. We did give them the microwave, that's moved over here. So, all right, very good.